there, this is Scott Tabor. In this video, I want to show you how to play what I think is one of the best instrumental songs by the Gipsy Kings called Moorea. This is a two-part video. In the first part, we're going to learn this awesome opening riff and how to strum those chords. In the second part, we'll learn the melody and how to improvise over the song using only one scale shape. Okay, before we start, notice that I don't have a capo on. Also in the video that you just saw, there's no capo. On the original recording of this song, there's a capo on the 2nd fret. I think it's simpler if we just forget about the capo for now. Learn all this stuff and then put a capo on the 2nd fret. And if you have problems with that, which a lot of people do, you should work on that. If you have dots on your guitar, which I don't, on a traditional, I guess, classical guitar, you're not going to have dots. But if you do, and a lot of nylon string guitars do nowadays, the capo can really mess up your eyes. But it's good practice. So basically where the capo is, the guitar doesn't exist to the left of the capo. So the capo is now the open strings, and what looks like the 4th fret is really the 2nd fret. You probably know that already, but for simplicity's sake, we're not going to have a capo here. All right, before we play the riff, we're going to need to know what the chords are, because the riff is really nothing but the chords using some shapes that you may have seen before, maybe not. The more common shapes, though, are what we're going to play when we're doing the strumming. So we have F sharp minor or F sharp minor 7. I think F sharp minor 7 sounds a little better. And then we have the 5 chord of F sharp minor, which is C sharp 7. But instead of playing it like this, which you certainly can, we're going to play it this way, which might look a little bit foreign. It's basically this: B7 over F sharp, take your pinky off. Real common way to play B7 in flamenco guitar. There's one note that's wrong, that's not in the chord, which is the high E string. So that happens here exactly the same way. Different fingerings because I have to bar it. But those are the first 2 chords. So unfortunately in this song we have to do some barring, but it's pretty brief. Each chord gets 2 measures, and so we have 4 measures here of having to bar. So I have F sharp minor, C sharp 7 over G sharp, we'll call that. After that we go to E minor and do exactly the same thing. This is a carbon copy of what we just did, 2 frets to the left, and we have B7 over F sharp. I like to put my pinky on that high F sharp just because it's correct and it's in the chord. Then after that we have a C chord. I'm playing C over G, just so we can hit all the strings and not have to worry about that open E string. After that we have A minor, D sharp diminished 7th. When you have a diminished 7th chord, you can move it around 3 frets at a time, and it's the same chord. So sometimes I'll do that when I'm strumming. I'll go up 3 frets, and then go to the final, if you want to, up to the final chord, which is B7 again. And we can play B7 however you like. And then it goes back to the beginning. The song is kind of interesting, and it presents a problem, actually, which we'll see in the next video, which is improvising over it, because there's a key change here. We're in the key of F sharp minor, F sharp harmonic minor to be exact over that chord. Then we modulate down to E minor, and for the rest of the song, we're in the key of E minor. Great little chord progression. Now, if you know any rumba patterns, any rumba pattern will work here. I'm going like this: down, up, slap, up. Putting a tie into the 3rd beat. 1 and 2 and. Little emphasis on the and of 2, which is a very essential rumba thing. 1 and 2 and slap and. There's a number of ways to slap with this rumba stuff. We can slap like this with your palm, or we can get this percussive snare hit. I'm hitting my index down and immediately silencing the strings so we don't really hear the note, and it just sounds like a snare drum. Okay, if you know how to play chords in some different ways, maybe if you're familiar with what we could call the cage system, if we have a minor chord like this, that's called the E minor form because it looks like an E minor chord. Okay, so wherever that is to the right of it, let's say where my pinky is right here, that's the root of the chord. Put your first finger and we have the shape of a D minor chord, and they connect in that order. E connects to D in the order of the spelling of the word cage, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so if you know a D minor chord, open, move it up 2 frets, that must be E minor. Move it up 2 more frets, and that's F sharp minor. There it is. So this riff is going to take those shapes, and we're going to kind of move our pinky around like this. Guitarists like Jesse Cook and Otmar Liebert, they have some riffs where we might have a D minor chord, and we're going playing with those different notes on top of the chord. This would be called D sus4. This is called D sus2. But they're really just notes that are in the key. So here's D minor. Okay. Let's move it up here though to the 5th position where your ring finger's on F sharp. That's how you can gauge what the name of the chord is. Here's a D note, D minor, E note, E minor, F note, F minor, F sharp minor is what we want. So the riff goes like this. Kind of a syncopated thing, grabbing all 3 of these at the same time. Right here I play a single string with my index finger, that's the 3rd string, and then it's hard to tell in the recording exactly what's happening, I think. Now for the next one, we could just go down 1 fret. Your ring finger is huge here. It's going to be our guide finger all the way down for this. So we have this shape, F sharp minor. Take your ring finger down 1 fret, do a tiny bar here. I'm going to make it more full in a second so we can put the bass notes in. But we're just doing this. Now that is C sharp dominant 7th. But we're just playing these 3 notes, and now this time the melody note is a note that's in the key A, an A note. Okay, so back to here. Now just go down 1 fret to your left and just do it again. That's E minor, B7. Next one we have a little bit of a C chord that's coming from what we could call the A form of C. It looks like an open A chord, right? These 3 notes, 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, and then your pinky does the same thing. Now do a half bar on the 5th fret, and you can use your pinky or your ring finger. I think the pinky feels better because we don't have to stretch as much. That's for the A minor chord, and then we have this note, add an F sharp in there. Then go up 2 frets, add your middle finger. This is just a B major chord or a B7. And that's how you can play the entire opening riff with only 3 strings. And if somebody else is strumming with you, it's fine to do that. We don't need any bass notes because the other guitar is doing it. So we have... But if you're playing by yourself and you want it to sound more full, we can add some of the notes from the chords and put some bass notes in there and really make it sound more big and complete. The problem though is we're going to have to do some more barring. At the beginning we can't really get away with it because we can't play this F sharp way down here and play this at the same time unless you have gigantic fingers. So here we'll just use this little tiny shape like we did. But this time take your ring finger down just like we talked about before and then do a 5-string bar here. And play the bass note only on that string, 5th string. I played the bass note 2 times in the measure. Now go down again. It's an E minor chord. That's lucky for us because that's an open string. Do the same thing again. Down 1 fret. Do a full bar or a 5-string bar. Go up a fret. This is getting a little bit squishy, but we can do it. Here we can do a full bar. You could do a half bar if you wanted to here because the next note is A. I suggest keeping the full bar because we already had it, and we're going to have more than a half bar for the next chord anyway. So here's our A minor chord. Then D sharp on the 6th fret of the 5th string right here. Put that ring finger down just like we did last time. Then up 2 frets to this chord. We're very familiar with this shape as people who play Spanish guitar kind of stuff. Romanza has that in there. A lot of Adelita. I mean, it's all over the place because the key of E minor is such a common key. B7 is the 5 chord. That's the chord that wants to resolve to E minor more than any other chord. And that's where we are here. We're going. So one more time. Here's the whole thing with the full sound. So those are the chords to Moorea. It doesn't change the entire song. It's just those chords around and round and round. The song really doesn't resolve anywhere. It fades out on the recording. But when they play it live, they do finally resolve to that E chord. B7, the final chord of the whole progression, wants to resolve to E minor. And when they play it live, that's what they do. Work on strumming these chords and playing that opening riff. Download my worksheet for this song, and I'll see you in the next part of this video where we work on improvising and playing the main melody of Moorea.